There's a moment that happens before everything changes. A quiet one. A moment where life feels uncertain, heavy, confusing, where you can't quite explain what's wrong, but something deep inside you knows. Something is shifting. You might not see it yet. You might not understand it yet. But what you're feeling right now isn't the end. It's the edge of a beginning. Lately, maybe everything familiar suddenly feels foreign. The people you once felt closest to, you don't connect with the same way anymore. The things that used to excite you now feel strangely empty. You wake up some mornings with a heaviness in your chest, wondering why you feel pulled towards something new, without knowing where that somewhere even is. But listen closely, that's not confusion. That's the universe rearranging the pieces of your life to align you with your next chapter. The chapter you can't see yet, but your soul already recognizes. Here's the truth most people never realize. Before a major shift, the universe doesn't whisper. It rearranges. It closes doors that no longer serve you. It removes people, habits, routines, and distractions that once felt safe, but were secretly keeping you small. And it often does it in ways that hurt, in ways that feel unfair, in ways that feel like loss. Because sometimes your soul has to break its own patterns before it can finally break free. You might start noticing strange synchronicities, repeated numbers, unexpected encounters, random messages in songs, dreams, conversations, or moments that feel too powerful to be coincidences. At first, you brush them off, but deep down, you know, they're not random. They're signals, echoes from your higher self whispering, "You're getting closer. Keep going." But before the breakthrough, there's almost always a breakdown. Because what's collapsing isn't your life. It's your old identity. The version of you that has outgrown its purpose. The version of you that stayed where it was comfortable instead of where it was called. You're shedding timelines. You're shedding beliefs. You're shedding patterns and people who simply cannot walk with you into the next version of your life. So if you feel lost right now, good. If nothing makes sense, good. If your plans keep falling apart, good. It means the old structure is dissolving, so the new version of you can rise. Think about it like this. When a caterpillar transforms, it doesn't just grow wings overnight. Inside the cocoon, it literally dissolves into chaos. Its old body breaks down completely before it can rebuild into something unrecognizable. That's you right now. You're not falling apart. You're forming wings. And in these moments, the universe speaks the loudest, not through lightning bolts, not through dramatic miracles, but through subtle shifts, through that quiet tug in your chest that says, "You're meant for more," through the frustration that forces you to grow, through endings that make space for beginnings, through the silence after the storm, when you finally realize that what left was never meant to stay. Here's what you need to remember. The universe doesn't test you to punish you. It tests you to prepare you, to see if you'll trust the process, even when you don't see the proof yet. Because the version of you that's about to emerge requires a new level of faith, a deeper level of surrender, a stronger capacity to receive. And that can't happen while you're still gripping the old chapter. So take a deep breath for a moment. Think about everything that's been changing around you. The friendships fading, the routines that no longer fit, the plans that keep collapsing, the versions of life that refuse to work out no matter how hard you try to force them. Now ask yourself, what if none of this is rejection? What if it's redirection? What if the universe isn't taking things away from you, but clearing space for what's actually meant for you? Because when you're about to step into your next level, life often becomes unrecognizable. That's how you know you're close. Everything that no longer vibrates at your frequency begins to fall away. Everything that no longer matches who you're becoming starts to loosen its grip. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's confusing. Yes, it makes you question everything. You wonder, why now? Why me? Why does it have to feel this hard? But remember this, ease doesn't grow you. Comfort doesn't transform you. Staying where it feels familiar doesn't elevate you. Alignment does. And alignment almost always feels uncomfortable at first, because alignment doesn't ask you to improve who you've been. It asks you to become who you truly are, not who you were shaped to be, not who you learned to be to survive, not who you became to fit in, but who you've always been beneath the noise, the fear, the expectations, and the masks. And the truth is, you've already been feeling the pull for a while, that quiet tug in your chest, that restlessness you can't explain, that feeling that something inside you is stretching, outgrowing, breaking free from an old skin, the call to start something new, even though you don't yet know what it is, the call to walk away from what drains your energy, even when it once felt safe, the call to stop shrinking yourself in rooms that no longer recognize your light, to stop dimming your truth just to avoid making others uncomfortable, the call to stop betraying your own soul just to belong somewhere that no longer fits who you're becoming. That's not confusion. That's the universe speaking. That's life whispering. It's time. And the more you resist that call, the louder the signs become. You start to feel restless, disconnected, unsettled, like nothing quite fits anymore. Not your routines, not your relationships, not even your old dreams. You feel uncomfortable in your own comfort. You feel exhausted pretending to be okay. Exhausted pretending to care about what no longer aligns. Exhausted trying to be who you used to be, when your soul already knows you're not that person anymore. And deep in your bones you feel it. A knowing, a certainty, a quiet truth you can't unhear. I can't keep living like this. But listen closely. That's not anxiety. That's awakening. That's your higher self knocking louder. That's your soul saying, we can't stay here anymore. Not because where you are is bad, but because where you're going requires a new version of you. So if you're watching this right now, it's not random. It's not coincidence. It's confirmation. Confirmation that you're standing at the edge of your next level. Confirmation that something inside you is ready to rise. Confirmation that your old chapter is ending, and a new one is already forming behind the scenes. And yes, it may be uncomfortable. Yes, it may be lonely for a while. Yes, it may feel like nobody truly understands what you're going through. You might feel misunderstood, out of place, like you no longer belong where you once felt at home. But remember this, caterpillars don't transform in groups. They retreat into solitude. They disappear from the world for a while. They surrender their old form in silence. And in that quiet, unseen space, everything changes. Growth happens in solitude, not in noise, not in crowds, not in moments where everyone is watching. Real growth happens when you're alone with your thoughts, when you're alone with your fears, when you're alone with your truth. Awakening happens in silence, not in applause, not in validation, not in recognition. It happens in the quiet moments, late at night, early in the morning, when no one else knows what you're carrying, but your soul does. And becoming happens when no one is watching, when you're not performing, when you're not explaining yourself, when you're not justifying your choices, when you're not proving anything to anyone, just you and the truth of who you're becoming. The real work happens in private. The healing happens in private. The transformation happens in private. Long before anyone sees your glow up, you've already survived your breakdown. Long before anyone celebrates your rise, you've already endured your rebirth. So here's your message from the universe today. Trust the rearranging. Trust the delays. The plans that didn't work out. The timelines that collapsed. The moments that forced you to start over when you thought you were finally settled. Trust the pauses. The seasons where nothing seems to move, where life feels stuck, slow, heavy, or unclear, where you're forced to sit with yourself and listen instead of rushing forward. Trust the endings. The relationships that faded, the chapters that closed without closure, the doors that shut without explanation, the versions of life that simply refuse to continue. Trust the moments that don't make sense yet, the heartbreaks that blindsided you, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, the detours that took you somewhere you never planned to go. Because everything that feels uncertain right now is simply the energy of your new life aligning behind the scenes, not against you, not to punish you, not to take something away, but to prepare you, to position you, to protect you from paths that would have cost you your peace, to redirect you toward futures you couldn't have imagined yet. You're not losing anything real. You're releasing what can't come with you. You're not being rejected. You're being redirected. You're not being abandoned. You're being upgraded. You're not being left behind. You're being launched forward. Sometimes life removes people before it reveals purpose. Sometimes doors close before destiny opens. Sometimes everything falls apart before it finally comes together. And the universe always sends signs before a major shift, not to scare you, not to confuse you, not to warn you, but to prepare you, to strengthen your spirit, to stretch your mindset, to build your trust, to deepen your faith, to expand your capacity to receive what you've been asking for, to teach you how to trust without seeing proof, to teach you how to surrender without knowing the outcome, to teach you how to walk forward, even when the path hasn't fully revealed itself yet. Because faith isn't believing when everything makes sense. Faith is walking when nothing does, and trusting that the ground will meet your feet. And you wouldn't be receiving this message right now if your soul wasn't ready to rise. You wouldn't feel this discomfort if you weren't meant for something greater. You wouldn't feel this restlessness if your current life was your final destination. You wouldn't feel this inner tension if your soul wasn't preparing to expand beyond who you've been. So listen closely. The path ahead may look unfamiliar. It may feel uncertain. It may feel uncomfortable. It may not resemble anything you've known before, but your heart already recognizes it. Your intuition already feels it. Your soul already knows the way, even if your mind is still trying to catch up. You're not waiting for the universe to give you a sign. You are the sign. You are the evidence that change is happening. You are the proof that growth is underway. You are the signal that transformation has already begun. The discomfort you feel, that's expansion. The confusion you feel, that's transition. The emptiness you feel, that's space being created for something new. Now it's time to step into who you were always meant to be. Not who you were taught to be. Not who you became to survive. Not who you settled into being because it felt safe. But who your soul has been calling you to become all along. The version of you that doesn't shrink. The version of you that doesn't settle. The version of you that doesn't abandon themselves to belong. The version of you that chooses truth over comfort. Alignment over approval. Growth over familiarity. And if this message resonated with you, share it with someone who might need this reminder today. Someone who's struggling silently. Someone who's doubting themselves. Someone who feels lost but is actually transforming. Then write this in the comments as a declaration to your higher self. I trust where the universe is taking me. Say it slowly. Say it honestly. Say it even if your voice shakes. Say it even if you don't fully believe it yet. Because belief grows through repetition. Confidence grows through courage. Faith grows through action. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Not when everything feels perfect. Now. The universe is calling you forward. Trust it, and watch how everything begins to unfold.